So I want to talk about the turbulent times, but even more importantly, I want to talk about the call for greatness and what it takes from us today. Because you were called out this morning. In case you weren't paying attention, you were called out by your CEO. He basically looked you in the eye and said, "Can I count on you? Are you ready? Are you ready to give me everything that you can possibly give?" Because the greatness of this organization is poised to seize that moment. So let me tell you what it takes to be great. And I want you, this morning when I had you, or just a few moments ago, when I had you get up and raise the bar and I saw the energy and I felt the energy and you were on your feet, I had a reason for that, by the way. The reason was I was afraid you weren't going to stand up like you did for Tom when I came up here. So playing the music got you up. But even more importantly than that, I had a specific reason, and that reason was I wanted you to understand that in order to win a fight, you first have to be in peak state. Are you in a fight right now? Yeah, and you're greatly positioned to win that fight. But to win any fight, you have to be in peak state. Nobody has ever won a fight back on their heels. We only win a fight when we're on the balls of our feet, when we're moving forward, when we're getting ready to attack, getting ready to take the blows. So what does it mean to be in peak state? Well, let me just tell you this. As a police officer, you know, some of you might know I'm a retired police officer, spent 29 years on the department. I did a lot of things from being a SWAT team commander to being in a lot of command positions. But one of the things that we know that helps us survive as a police officer is being in peak state. We have a lot of athletes in this room. Do you understand what peak state is? Peak state is essential to surviving the moment, to taking the blow. As a police officer, there were moments when I would be bored to death sitting in a police car and seconds later being in a fight for your life. How long does it take to get into peak state, or how much time can you take to get into peak state in those instances? You have to get into peak state in an instant. So let me tell you what peak state is, and I, like Tom, encourage you to write this down, because this is the difference between greatness and mediocrity. Every great champion, every great leader, every great performer, every great team member, every great parent has the ability to get into peak state when they are challenged. And it starts with your physiology. Your physiology is your body. How are you standing? Think about what it felt like when you were standing, listening to that pump-up music. You're clapping, your energy is going. It's just like, how are you sitting right now in your chairs? How were you sitting when you were listening to Tom? Were you sitting upright? Was your pen in your hand? Were you learning ready? Were you getting ready to be inspired? Or were you sitting there wondering when he was going to get finished? There's a big difference, and our physiology creates our mindset. It's all about standing tall, walking with purpose, moving with purpose, and you feel every ounce of your energy in your body at that moment when you have to be in a peak state. So it starts with your physiology. It then extends to your focus. And you know, if you're a diversity champion, we call it laser focus, because there are so many distractions in the world today that it's easy for the whirlwind to take us away from those things that are our highest priorities. And Tom talked about them today. Your culture, commitment, hard work, taking care of one another, those are all the things that you have to have a laser-like focus on, because that's what's going to lead you to greatness in this world today. You have to remember that what you are focused on is where every ounce of your energy goes. If you are focused on this is a tough time, your energy is going to that. If you're focused on this is the moment to seize, then all of your energy goes to that place as well. So you have to stop and think, what am I focused on right now? I was listening to somebody described one of the greatest linemen in the history of the NFL. And they were talking about what made him great. And one of his competitors said, because he was focused every play, not some of the plays, not just when it was a crucial situation. Every play he was laser focused on what was happening right now in the now moment. Minimizing distractions. So what are you focused on? And third, it's the language. It's the language that you say to yourself in your mind. It's the mental conversations that lead to your attitude. It's the mindset that Tom was talking about this morning. Because you know, we spend a lot of time telling stories to ourselves in our head. One of the things Freud got right was, he said, you know, we think we make decisions. In truth, there's a committee up there making decisions. Some of your committees are very large, right? We have committees that are talking to us up there in our head. So what is the language that you are saying to yourself? Are you saying things like, we're going to try to do it, or are you saying, we are going to do it? Is your language filled with commitment words, or is it filled with powerless words? Is it filled with a vision, or is it filled with, I wonder what's going to happen in the next moment? So getting in peak state requires every one of these things. It's always your physiology. It's always your focus. And it's the language that you are saying to yourself. Tony Robbins says that anybody who is successful and anybody who is great has the potential to get into peak state in an instant when circumstances demand the very, very best of them. What separates Tiger Woods from all the other golfers? He has the ability to have a laser-like focus that gets him into peak state, not for every moment he's on the golf course, but there are moments when he has to dig down for the very best of himself. And these times demand being in peak state. Now, what gets us into peak state? Now, I had the blessing, or the curse, I'm not sure which, to study martial arts a lot when I was much younger. In fact, I used to compete nationally in martial arts. And one of the things in martial arts, the very first thing they taught us to do was to get into a fighting stance. And the instant we got into a fighting stance, guess what kind of state we were in? Peak state. Because it channeled every ounce of our energy and focus, every ounce of our strength into the moment about what we were about to partake in. So I call getting in a fighting stance, if you're a martial artist, I call that making your move. Does anybody know what I mean by making your move? Making your move means what kind of primal instinct or movement or sound do you make that puts you into peak state? Think about the Native American warriors. When they would go on a raid, they were whooping and hollering because they were getting into what? Peak state. We thought they were just crazy. We thought that we just called them savages for that. They were getting into peak state. So I want everybody to get up on your feet because you are going to make a move. Now you're thinking right now, what the heck is a move? I don't know what it is for you. Everybody has your own move. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pretend that you are that policeman in that police car, bored to death, and now you are about to get into a fight for your life. What is it going to take? What is the move that's going to put you into that state? For me, it was getting into a fighting stance. That was my move. For Tiger Woods, it is this, his fist pump in the air. Some of you, I don't know, it might be flipping somebody off. I don't know what your move is. We were doing a diversity champions class recently, and when everybody had to do their move in the first few minutes of the class, there was a woman in the class, and her move was like this. She was pushing us away because she thought we were insane. But here's the thing. As you learn to get into peak state, your move is going to evolve. So don't think that the move you create right now, you have to live with it forever. It is going to evolve. So here's what I challenge you to do. To just instinctively, right now, think about that you are about to get into a fight for your life and make a move. And no, it shouldn't be this, taking a shot. By the way, I was in Cancun. Coincidentally enough, I was in Cancun. And the cool thing about being there on vacation the same time you were there is I get to write it off as research for this speech. I'm joking about that. But I did attribute Cancun to doing research, and I took a lot of notes about what I saw. And as I was on the airplane coming home, I thought, you know what, Cancun really has to be like Las Vegas. What happens in Cancun needs to stay in Cancun. So I threw the notes away. So right now, get into a primal state. You have been challenged. You have been called out by Tom, not only to survive this, but to take this team, take yourself to greatness. So make a primal move. Right now, make a move. Yeah, I like it. One more time. Make your move. One more time. Make your move.